The hum of the spacecraft's engine was the only sound that filled the bridge as Captain Elena Moore stared at the blinking data screen. A signal had been detected from deep in the uncharted regions of space. It was faint, fragmented, but unmistakable. An alien signal. Elena had spent her entire career preparing for something like this, but the weight of the moment pressed down on her shoulders. The Federation had warned her that any contact with an unknown species could lead to danger, but she had hoped it would be a peaceful encounter, an opportunity for humanity to prove its worth. But this felt different. The signal had been sent in a pattern that no known species used. It wasn't a greeting or an invitation. It was urgent. And as Elena sifted through the data, she realized it wasn't a simple transmission. The signal contained encoded instructions, but the language was unlike anything they had ever encountered. They needed answers, and fast. As the crew scrambled to decipher the message, Elena's mind raced. She had always believed that first contact would be an opportunity for growth, for diplomacy. But what if this signal was a warning? What if it was a cry for help? There were so many possibilities, so many unknowns. They had to investigate further. They had no choice. In the cold void of space, Elena gave the command. The ship would move closer to the source of the signal, ready to confront whatever awaited them. Hours later, the crew stood on the observation deck, watching the distant planet grow larger on the view screens. The signal had been coming from its surface, but the planet was desolate. No signs of life. No cities, no infrastructure. Just endless barren stretches of land and a thick, eerie mist that seemed to cling to the ground. Elena felt a chill. There was something unsettling about this place, something that made her gut twist with unease. Captain, her second-in-command, Lieutenant Jace Rook, said, his voice breaking through the tension. "We're picking up more signals. They're coming from the planet's surface. It's not a single source. It's like the entire planet is broadcasting." Elena nodded. "We need to go down there. If this is a warning, we need to understand it before it's too late." The descent through the planet's thick atmosphere was slow, but when the ship finally landed on the barren, mist-covered surface, the air seemed to throb with an unnatural energy. Elena's heart pounded in her chest as the crew disembarked, their boots crunching in the dust beneath them. They didn't know what to expect, but they were ready for anything. The mist was thick, almost oppressive, and as they moved deeper into the planet's desolate landscape, the silence was deafening. Not a single animal, no rustling of wind. The only sound was their own breathing. Elena's team spread out cautiously, scanning their surroundings for any signs of life or death. Suddenly, they heard it. A low, rumbling growl in the distance. It was faint at first, like an echo reverberating through the planet's surface. But as it grew louder, the crew tensed. "Stay alert," Elena ordered. The growling continued, rising in pitch. But then, just as quickly, it stopped. The silence returned, suffocating and complete. "Did anyone else hear that?" Jace asked, his voice shaky. "We all heard it," Elena said, gripping her weapon tighter. "Keep moving." And then they saw it. A massive structure, half buried in the dust, loomed in the distance. It was unlike anything they had ever seen, angular, geometric, as though it had been constructed by a mind that understood space and time in ways humans couldn't even begin to grasp. It wasn't just alien. It was ancient. As they approached, the signal intensified. The closer they got to the structure, the louder it became. It was coming from within. Elena's heart raced as they stepped inside, the atmosphere growing colder with each step. The walls were adorned with strange symbols, patterns that seemed to pulse with an energy of their own. But no one had time to examine them. The moment they entered the structure, they were greeted with a horrific sight. Bodies. Thousands of them. The aliens had been here, but they were long gone. But the message, the warning. It was clear now. It wasn't meant for them. The discovery of the dead alien species sent shockwaves through Elena's crew. They were not the first to answer the signal. Another race had come here before them. And from the looks of it, they had paid the ultimate price. The air felt thick with dread as Elena stood among the scattered remains, staring at the eerie symbols etched into the walls. Whatever had happened to these beings, whoever had destroyed them, was still out there. And the crew wasn't just here to uncover the truth. They were now part of something much bigger, something far more dangerous. Jace's voice was tight with fear. "Captain, the signal, it's changing." Elena turned to him. "What do you mean?" "The patterns. It's like they're alive, changing in real time. It's responding to us." A chill ran down Elena's spine. The signal wasn't just a message anymore. It was alive. And it was aware of them. "We need to get out of here," Jace said urgently, his hands shaking. But Elena couldn't just leave. Not when they were this close to understanding. They had to find out who or what was responsible for the destruction of the alien species. And importantly, why they had sent the warning. The crew pressed on, exploring the depths of the structure. They found more rooms, more symbols, and the deeper they went, the more unsettling the scene became. They were not just on an alien world anymore. They were in a place of unimaginable horrors, a relic of a forgotten war, a battle that had spanned galaxies. Then, in the deepest chamber, they found it, a device. A machine that pulsed with energy, its purpose unclear but its power undeniable. Jace stepped forward, eyes wide. "Captain, I think we found the source of the signal." Before Elena could respond, a voice echoed through their comms. "Leave now," it whispered, cold and distant. Who's there?" Elena demanded, her heart racing. The voice spoke again, more clearly now. "The device is a trap. Do not trust it. It will lead to your destruction." The warning was clear. Whatever this device was, it was not meant for them. It was a lure, a bait to draw them in, and they had fallen for it. But they weren't going to leave without answers. The crew stood in the heart of the alien structure, the ominous device before them, pulsing with malevolent energy. The voice continued to echo in their comms, now tinged with urgency and fear. "You must stop it," the voice urged. "It is the key. If you do not, it will reach the stars and consume all." Elena gripped her weapon tightly, staring at the device. "What is it? What does it do?" "The machine is a weapon," the voice explained. "It was built to defend the galaxy, but it has been corrupted. It was meant to protect life, but it now destroys it." Elena's pulse quickened. This wasn't just a warning anymore. This was a countdown. The device began to hum, its energy escalating. The crew watched in horror as it seemed to pull the very air from the room, distorting the space around them. "We can't stop it. We need to shut it down now," Jace said, his voice tight with panic. But the voice spoke again. "There is no stopping it. The only way to end it is to destroy everything here. You must sacrifice all." The sacrifice. Elena's heart sank. There was no other choice. The machine had to be destroyed, but doing so would mean leaving behind their ship, their only way home. The crew stood at a crossroads. Sacrifice their future to protect humanity or risk everything for the unknown. With a heavy heart, Elena made the call. The crew set charges around the device, preparing for the detonation. As the timer ticked down, Elena looked at her team, knowing that this decision would change everything. The explosion rocked the structure, and everything went dark.